Howdy folks, Video Fort Angel here, and we have been on quite a journey together learning the basics of Logic Pro X, and we're finally at that happy point where I can start to teach you things that are going to make your process quicker and easier. That's right, hotkeys. We love hotkeys. They're fabulous. So quickly to overview, we have learned how to build a track from scratch. You know how to record and capture audio. You know how to program and edit MIDI. You've created comps. You know how to do some basic mixing. You know how to bounce down. You understand the importance of session organization by making sure everything's labeled correctly, that you have saved things in an archival way, which is just like, I like to do the date and then the name of the project, and we can have subsequent edits. So like say this is, let's open this up so you can see it real quick. All right, so I have it saved as, this is the year, month, day. So 2017, March 30, Logic 7. Let's say that this is edit A, and then I can just make multiple versions under that, edit B, etc. So if I make any major changes but I don't want to mess up the original source session, I just save it as something else, which is our friend save as. Yay. Okay, so now that you understand all of that, the color coordinating, all of that stuff, let's get into hotkeys and let's make your process easier. Okay, so you know X. X is easy. X brings the mixer, X puts the mixer away. Right next to X is Z. So Z will make things bigger or smaller. So I like to keep things about here as far as track height. A little bigger than that, actually. There we go. And when I press Z, it just makes everything bigger, smaller, bigger. But check this out. You see that nothing in this part is highlighted. If I go to a track and these parts are highlighted, it's going to just focus on heightening the track that you're selecting. So look at this. Bam. Okay. So say I wanted to edit this little bit right here. It's highlighted. If it wasn't highlighted, look, it makes everything bigger. But see, this turns white. Now you want all of them highlighted. You click here, highlights all of them. You want singles. You can do that. Holding the shift key, you can choose individual bits. But for now, everything's highlighted, making it nice and big. Our playhead is at 3, so I'm going to zoom in. And let's say I want to make a cut at 3-2. Okay, so here I am. Remember these guys right here? Our tools. These are your tools. You haven't seen them in a minute. I did teach you how to make a cut holding Command and pressing T. That does create a cut. But let's actually open our tools. So just hit the T key. See how that pulls up in your menu? And wherever your cursor is, that's where the menu is going to pull up. So I'm going to go into my scissors, and I am going to click with the scissor tool, and it makes a cut. See? So I have this half here and this half here. I'm going to go back to the pointer tool, which you can also do, by the way, by going D. If you hit the D key, it just returns your tool to the default tool, which is the pointer. So that's a good one to know, is D is your pointer tool. Okay, so this part's highlighted, but this is not. I'm going to click on that, holding Shift, making sure that they're both selected, because if I select one or the other, it's just going to switch between the two of them. So holding Shift, bam, and let's pull that tool menu up again. I'm going to go to my Fade tool and do a crossfade. It's a very messy crossfade. Oh, I'm remiss. Let's try this again. Opening my tool menu. If you look here, if you don't want to scroll down, you just, like, when you have it open, literally press A, and that'll have the tool. So when you press T, if you look, it has little hotkeys here. Now these are going to be different when the tool menu is not open, but when it is open, you can use all of these to quickly grab the tool that you want. So here I am with my Fade tool, and I'm going to create a little crossfade. Bam. Crossfade. So a crossfade is the first half of the track here is fading out, and the second half of the track here is fading in, and they blend together so that there's no hard cut between the two of them. It's like kind of beveling off the sharp edges so that you don't hear any clicks or pops when you have cuts. So pretty easy, cool stuff for your editing situation. I'm going to press Z again and get out of all of that. And cool. We have learned some cool stuff. What is this H up here? You might be wondering. It stands for hide. So you see all these tracks now have the H on them. When I get rid of it, there's no H. I bring it back. H is there. So for intents and purposes, I created this little guy right here, which is a duplication of Tanya background 09. So it's a pretty handy little tool, the hide thing. What you do with it is, say you have 2 versions of something. Okay, so say Tanya did 2 performances, and I like this top one better than I like the bottom one. So the bottom one, I'm just going to mute it, but if you look, it's still in my workspace. It's taking up space, and it's making me crazy, and I just don't want it there anymore. But I don't want to delete it. I just kind of want to make it inactive. That's what H is for. It hides it away. When I click H, that latches it to the H up here. And so any other tracks that I, put the H activated on, when I click the H again, it hides it. See? So be careful about that too, because you might lose something that you want to keep active. So just be mindful as you go, but the H is very, very handy for that stuff. So you have hideaway, and what about muting? Muting is easy. Muting is the M key. Bam. Mute, unmute, mute, unmute. Say there are multiple bits that you want to mute. Say it's just this guy. Mute, he's muted. See? Fabulous. Say you want to mute multiple bits. Mute, I'm holding shift. I'm going to select this guy and this one and you and you and you and you and also you. Mute. They're all gray. There you go. Muted. Unmuted. And then again, you just click on the background to deselect anything that you have actively selected. Pretty easy stuff. So you know about automation. A, that's where you get the volume rides. Maybe you're doing vocals. You want to, make things louder or quieter in certain spots. You know how to do that already. And G is our global track information. So remember this guy where it has the arrangement, marker, signature, tempo. That's G. You can get all of that information right up there. It's really easy. To the right of your M key, you have your little scroll keys. So that little alligator pointing to the left is going to scroll you left. That's right above the comma. And the little alligator on the right that is above the period is going to scroll you right. So I'm clicking on the right one. See me scrolling? And then I'm scrolling back. Now the thing with this scroll thing is you can actually scroll into the negatives. See this guy right here? So just make sure that wherever you end up, if you want to end up at the beginning, you can press return to 0, or you just make sure that this is at 1. Pretty easy stuff. And then we have our cycle. Remember cycle? You click here to get the gold, or you can click here to get the gold, or guess what? You can push the question mark button to get the gold. Question mark and the slash. There you go. See? Yay! You have your markers, which you can find under global. So I'm pressing G and I'm pulling those back up. But maybe you just want your markers so that you can mark things. You don't need all that information. Quotations. You hit the quote. There they are. And you can add markers here without having to open all of that other global stuff. So that's pretty nifty. I like that one. On this side of things, you remember these guys right here. These will pull up menus, right? All right, so library right here that I'm clicking on, that is Y. See the Y key? There it is. All of my virtual instrument library is right there. And then if I want the track information hidden or to appear, it's I, which is the inspector. Okay? See? So we have the volume and everything here. But see this guy? You can get all your plugins and track information, get a little bit more detailed about your respective tracks. See? Fabulous. All right, so after I is O, and O pulls up these guys, Apple loops. See? So you go into there, you get your Apple loops. That's all pretty handy. And then P, this is go-to position. You might not really need it at this level, but maybe you've done so much work in Logic at this point that you're advanced. So you can just kind of select a place to go, and now I'm like way over there. So returning to 0. So you can select what bar you want to go to by using P. So you want to go to bar 10. See, move the playhead. Pretty cool, pretty easy. So let's go back to, color. So color is Alt-Option-C, and it just opens your color palette so you can choose, and then you can do the same thing to get rid of it. When you might not have a MIDI keyboard with you or a controller, you might want to use you might do some basic programming, so you can hold Command and hit K, and you have your little musical type. So you remember musical type, you can hit the keys and make it happen. So you program that with a virtual instrument. When you go up here to track, you want a new software instrument track, and it's classic piano. I'm opening that again, and then there it is. Easy stuff. I like it. All right, so now getting into your editor, press E, and it pulls open your editor. All right, so I have no information on this track, so because I just created it, but look at that. There it is. So I have this editing space here with the E key. It's very, very handy. You can get rid of it. And then we have plugins and such. Say you want to open, you want to open the floating window. You have the floating window and you have in the box. So here's the floating window. I am pressing V, and that just pulls up the actual floating window for the plugin that is attached to Nathan Lyric 20 here. Okay, and if I press V again, it goes away. Press B, and it opens it in the box here. See? And controls, this will be the actual instrument if you have a virtual instrument, but if you have an audio track, you just want to go over to where the plugins and stuff are. So there will be plugins here. If it's a virtual instrument, it'll be the instrument. If it's a plugin, it will be the plugin here. Okay, to get rid of that. You know how to copy and paste. It's like any other program. Command C is to copy. Command V is to paste. Command X is to cut. So at this point, you've learned enough to help you fly through your process. Now that you know some more about session management and arrangement, about mixing, now that you've got hotkeys to help you navigate your process a little faster, I hope this ups your productivity and that you're able to create even more masterpieces in Logic Pro X. Thank you so much. This is Video Fort Angel. Have a good time. Bye-bye.